Yeah, we had a really good week of practice. I mean, I think the kids' energy and enthusiasm was, better than it was the last couple weeks. When you think it's good, they're locked in, but just a little bit more, pop in their step, I guess, which is good. That's what you hope an open week does, give them a little fresh. And so we've had a good week. We got to go out and execute, I think, in all three phases and go down there and play a very talented Louisville football team. So, questions?
On that topic, a lot of people inside this building and outside this building think you guys haven't played your best game yet. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that.
Do you think it's coming?
I think it's coming. I don't know when, but I think we've played solid, but I don't think we've put it all together like I'd like. But that happens. I mean, it's played good enough to win 4, and should have won 6. But.
Was the injuries a part of that? I mean, I don't know.
No. We got could you say it was part of the Tennessee game? Yeah, if Keaton plays the whole game, I think we win that one. But what are you gonna do? If Nick Patty stays healthy, I think we got a much better chance. They didn't put 52 up on us, I can tell you that, right? So I think we played pretty good, but we just didn't get it done.
How would you say Malik Cunningham has improved as a player since the last time you saw him?
It's hard to tell on videotape. I'll tell you after the game. But he's a good player. I mean, he's I can tell you this: he's more confident. He can run. He's athletic. I mean, I'm sure he knows what he's doing more than he did 2020 during COVID and the lack of practices we had that year, as we know, and the guys getting traced out and all that. So I'm sure he's got more talent around him. They're running the ball with him. They got more designated runs with him, I think, now than they did in the past. So we're gonna have to, really, know where he is and have our eyeballs on him.
Do you expect them to continue with those designated runs, even though he's coming back from a concussion?
You don't know. You got to prepare for him, but you sit in the staff room and you go, are they going to run that? I mean, a lot of his are protected runs, and whether they runs to the sideline, tries to get out of bounds, but or tries to get his 10 yards on a keeper and slide. I'm sure they'll be smart with him. They don't, but I think they got a lot of faith in their next guy too. They're going to try to win a game. They're going to try to win a game one at a time, and if I'm them, and I know I've got a really good backup that just won the game a week ago, they're going to do what Malik likes to do, is run the football.
On following on Jerry's injury question, do you feel like you've had more injuries this year than in previous years?
No question about it. I jinxed myself in the spring. I told you we had one soft tissue injury, and then all of a sudden, and again, I think a lot of people have around the country. I don't know what it is, but we've had more injuries than we've ever had. It's 8 years. My 8 years here, I felt like we've had more of those than we'd like. And you don't know. Nothing you can do about it.
Are things getting better in that regard?
I think so, Jerry. Sometimes they get better. Sometimes they get worse. It might be worse after the game. It's better before the game. We'll see. See who can play. We'll see who's ready to roll.
You, through the spring and in August, you guys talked a lot about Konate and what he was showing you in practices and the plays he was making. He hasn't had that breakout game yet. What does he need to do to maybe kind of blow up one of these weeks?
We'll find out. I mean, I think, he didn't play it obviously last weekend, but I think in that Georgia Tech game, he started getting the ball in his hands, and we started getting him going on some bubbles and all that. And, he's going to be a game time decision to see if he goes or not. But, if he is available, we'll see if we can get him involved a little bit early and see if we can get him going. But he's a talented player. We just got to get the ball in his hands. We got to get him on the field. That's the first thing.
When you have a running back like Izzy, who's been doing so well and carrying the load, and then you have a guy like Rodney who's working his way back into the mix, how do you find a way to get him going, and without potentially stalling Izzy's progress or taking away touches from him, but get everyone else involved and get back?
We're not going to stall Izzy, I can tell you that. Rodney's good, and we got to get Rodney back 100%. He's not 100% yet. We wish he was, but we got to get Rodney back to where he's 100%, and then we can maybe talk more about where he is. And you guys saw him limping out there on Tuesday a little bit. So we just got to get healthy, and but we're not going to slow down what Izzy's done so far. He's proven it. We've talked for last couple of years about who's the hot hand. He's the hot hand right now, and he keeps getting hotter.
And you discussed that rushing game on Monday. What about the O-line makes them good at run blocking? What do you like about that group, even with a couple different pieces in there at times?
Yeah, I mean, we got two backups in there that aren't starters, but again, it goes with the scheme, first of all, what we're doing, how we're doing it. Coach Signetti's brought some good things with us as far as just how we're targeting the linebackers, how they're comboing up the players. So it's not just the plays we run, it's how we run it. There's just so many different, if you were in a huddle or in a staff meeting, just hearing the different words and what that means compared to what that means versus the same run, but run a different way based on where the linebackers and 3-4, 4-3, whatever it may be. There's just different things that we're doing that are giving us a chance to be successful. It's not all, Izzy's doing it when he gets through the line of scrimmage, but that first 5 yards is goes to scheme, and it goes to some of our checks that we make up front, and it goes to obviously the offensive line, tight ends, and sometimes those receivers downfield.
Those things you're doing, is that difficult for an offensive line because you have a veteran group? You're able to do more things.
I think because we're a veteran group, we can do more things and change things, and 1 minute you're going to the left, and 1 minute you're going to the right. So it's all those things going where we need to go to be successful. So I think that's part of it. But we got good teachers too. So even if they were younger, and we've taught Branson what to do, and he hasn't really messed up. So,
Pat, knowing that Louisville has a ton of sacks already this year defensively, is there an extra emphasis on getting the ball out quick this week when you are looking to drop back and pass?
well, the first emphasis is to block them, right?
That's true.
So we got to do a better job blocking them than maybe some of the other folks have. So that's what it comes down to. And then quarterback's got to get the ball out of his hand. We got to protect him. We got to give him a chance. We got to get open as receivers. So it's the blocking, it's the route running, and then it's the decision making and getting the ball in your hand. So it's a three-part deal.
I was doing some math during your off week because we had all this extra time.
Math.
I know. Between you and your opponents, you've run 822 offensive plays this season.
We run 82.
You and your opponents. Like, there have been 822 offensive plays in your games this season. There have been 8 offensive holding calls. I know they always joke that there's holding on every play, but 1 out of every 100 snaps. I mean, does that seem low to you? Does it seem like they're calling fewer holding this year?
It's funny you talked about the penalties, and we can look at some of the penalties are good calls, some of them are bad calls, as we all know. So we won't talk about that. But I was just looking at, I think we have 23 unforced penalties on the year, which is really good. We talk about unforced. I mean, that's the false starts you're talking about. That's a low. We've got 1 selfish penalty on the year, which was an unsportsmanlike. We just talked about it. We've had 1 on Haba down on the goal line against, I forget who it was. West Virginia. And he taunted him. He just kind of did one of those and got a flag, which I see a lot of it during the course of a game and see no flags, but he got it, and that's really good. 1 selfish the whole year. Can don't want anybody to listen to me and chinks our tail again here, but that's discipline. Disappointed in some of the aggressive. We talk about aggressive. Hey, it's an aggressive game. You're going to have a holding call on offense. You're going to have a defensive pass interference. We're going to have those. Those are aggressive, playing hard. But I think we've got 7 blocks in the back, which is ridiculous. So that's almost on the selfish end of trying to do too many things. I think we've had 7 of those, but we've done a pretty good job with the unforced errors.
But as far as offensive holding, do you feel like that's getting called less this season?
You know what? You're talking about. I thought you were talking about false starts.
No, I mean holding, specific offensive
okay.
holds. Yeah, you've had 8 of those between you and your opponent.
Yeah, I don't know if they're getting called less. They get coached different. I guess that's a good question for Dennis Hennigan. If they get, what are they looking for? They let you hold nowadays. They let you hold, and if it's not significant, if you let go, they don't call it. I don't know how to coach that. To me, it's either holding or it's not holding, and they're definitely not calling. When I look at our defense and I look, they're not calling them, as much. But but I don't think we hold a lot on offense, and it seems like every time we, get anything that's tight, we don't hold very much on offense. I can tell you that. But they get Jared Wayne for 1. Down on a touchdown, I think, we got called back against Tennessee, another big play. And, I see it on the other side. So it's just, I don't know. I don't know how to officiate anymore. I don't know how to coach. So don't get me started.
What about roughing the passer? There's been a problem in the NFL. The guys throwing a flag maybe too soon. Have you seen that much that this year?
Have you?
No.
Did you see that one on Tyler Wiltz that one day?
Yeah, that was one. Yeah.
That's roughing? My gosh.
I'm
gonna start telling our guys, hey, if you're gonna get close, just bury him. Just bury him. If you get close, if you're getting a flag for that, unnecessary roughness, you might as well just go get them. But yeah, obviously I see some of the NFL things that are going on, and sometimes they go your way, sometimes they don't. So
Are they throwing the flag too quickly in your games or in college games in general, do you see?
I think a little bit sometimes, you know. I just want it to be fair. As long as it's even, I'm good.
Yeah.
Call it the same way.
Looking back at the last time you played this team, your defense only allowed 3 points in the second half. You go back and watch that and see, you know, since they had the same quarterback and probably some other guys on offense that you kind of maybe look to replicate what you guys did there with those adjustments?
Yeah, we got different players, and you know, and you certainly, that's, you know, that game's in our breakdown. We know what they did that day. They know they're watching that game heavily. We're watching that game. You know, we're trying to say, okay, they ain't gonna do that again. What are they gonna do? What's their play off of a play? We stopped that. What are they going to? So there's a, you know, that'll be the chess match from 2 years ago. And again, I think I said on Monday's press conference, you know, Satterfield pretty much runs the O. I'm sure there's some different guys in that room that are having different ideas. Hey, let's try this. So they'll do some things we have not seen. But, you know, the offense you saw in 2020 is very similar to the offense you see now with, you know, a good offensive line, really good offensive line. And I'm not that they were bad back then, but just, you know, different guys, obviously.
Pat Randy, when we talked to him earlier this week, said that tackling is really the number one thing when you're facing Malik Cunningham and when he's running around, just making good on those opportunities when he's in the open field. How do you feel you guys have done in that area so far this season?
This season?
Yeah.
Well, we like 4-2, I guess. We did like that, you know. We've done okay. I mean, you know, disappointed in how we tackled, you know, Jeff Sims. We focused on that this week. Just, you know, we don't have a quarterback that looks like Jeff Sims or Malik Cunningham. So when you guys want to volunteer, we'll let you guys come out there and be the quarterback. But we just don't have a guy to emulate what athletic ability, you know. So we've talked a lot on angles. I mean, it's going to be about, you know, don't misjudge his speed. And if Eli Kasanovich is running out that way, don't go like where you're going to go to get Eli. You got to go like you're going to get Malik. So those are things that we've kind of focused on. But, you know, until you get in the game, we got to make those plays. It's a concern, obviously.
Anything else?
Who's your backup quarterback these days? It's not an injury question, is
Yeah,
it?
it is.
Is it?
It could be Nate or it could be Nick Patty. Depends on who's healthy.
Anything else?
Andre mentioned like a month ago that
Who, Andre?
Yeah, Coach Powell mentioned that before games he prints out a test for the running backs to fill out, and on Saturday morning they go through and discuss how they did and everything. Is that something all position groups do, or is that just something he does?
No, we all do the same thing. We, you know, everybody's got a tip sheet. You know, it's kind of tips and reminders, and then there's some type of test just to make sure they understand.
Like a
what's going on.
physical test for everyone?
Oh yeah, a piece of paper.
Yeah. Do other programs do that, or
I don't know. I don't.
Where'd you get that?
It's just something we've been doing for years. We've always had a tip sheet. You know, just reminders like, hey, remember when they're in this backfield set or this formation, they like, you know, just all the things that we want to, you know, just reminders. Hey, remember if they come out and empty, you know, we're checking this coverage, or if they come out with the, you know, there's like that's what we do. So I would imagine most people, I don't know what most people do, but I would imagine if people don't have tip sheets and reminders, whether it's a quiz or not, like that to me is the norm. I don't know any other way. It's just reminders. It's something for them to look at and review. We talk in meetings every day, but it's just it's a review.
I forget if it was after the Rhode Island game or some game, you mentioned that you love noon kicks. Is it as simple as, especially when you're on the road, just getting home earlier versus the evening kick?
That's the only reason. I mean, games are games. We don't care when we get to play them. But a noon kick, I get to go home, you know, maybe play some bocce and see the family. So, you know, that's selfishly, you know, for someone that's got 4 kids that likes to see his kids and his wife, that's why I like it. Otherwise, I'll play anytime. You know, I love night games. Who doesn't love night games? But getting home at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, I'm not going to get the mass on Sunday morning. I can tell you that. Usually I go to 7:30 mass. I ain't getting there, Jerry.
Is that the price you have to pay when you win a championship? You all of a sudden become the marquee team on
I guess.
Saturday
I don't
night?
know. I don't know if it's marquee or not, but we got it. What else you got? Anything? All right,